by rationality, I want to believe that the Bini is like an extension of the Yoruba.
Extensions of the Yoruba.
Yeah, because if you look at it, it's not because I'm Yoruba, but it is because I've, studied and I've tried to see, to reason, why is it that the Bini language is almost into extinction or is confined to a particular region?
It's confined to only Benin, Edo.
Yeah, and
I was at Benin last week with a profound historian. He told me that the Yoruba kingdom is from Benin. And it was a lot of arguments.
It's an unending argument. What I have come to understand is that when you look at the two tribes, they seem to be related. So history comes with a lot of frame. And that frame, has to do with the ways in which people who write the story or the history want you to believe in. They want you to believe in something. But by rationality, I want to believe that the Bini, it's like an extension of the Yoruba.
Extensions of the Yoruba.
Yeah, because if you look at it, it's not because I'm Yoruba, but it is because I've, studied and I've tried to see, to reason, why is it that the Bini language is almost into extinction or is confined to a particular region?
It's confined to only Benin, Edo.
Yeah, and
I think about 3 local government and 4 local government.
And that is it. And when you read about the slave trade, how come that people who were taken away from Nigeria, from Yoruba, are still
still in Cuba, Brazil,
elsewhere, and you see them in Benin, in Togo, and in Senegal. So this tells me that the Yoruba possibly have been more expanded before the Edo. But of course, they will always say, oh, we own Lagos. Yes. But we also know from history that they actually came to Lagos later. So when you look at the tribes that make up Lagos, the Bini enclave in Lagos is just a very little part of the space they occupy. When you think about the Awori, the Egbas, the Ijebu, when you look at the Ekwe, without even reading this from history, you can question it. Why is it that the Bini, the Edo language is confined to a particular place? Perhaps because it was an empire that was confined to a particular space. So I'm not even speaking from history. I'm also taking from what is existing. From the factual, geographical fact that exists right now. Presently. So, and the geographical fact you have now is imagined from history. So it means, Lagos has always been so, Ekiti people has always been so. Perhaps you can also argue that the Ekiti, the Ijebu, they were not named Yoruba in the beginning, but they shared affinity with Oyo, Ekiti, based on the history of Oduduwa from Ile-Ife. The argument between Yoruba and Bini is unending, like I said, but then you want to think that the Yoruba are bigger in size, in terms of geography, and in terms of language influence. So why is it that, the Bini couldn't spread beyond
confined within Edo State?
Edo State, what you have today.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is one of the most rational view I've ever had about this particular subject.
Yeah, but again, you see that some of the Bini people are already coming back to Ife to pay homage to Oni of Ife. Think about it. The Shakiri, there is a kind of affinity to the Yoruba. Why not the Edo? There is a kind of affinity, and I think something must have happened in the past that makes it to look as though the Bini story is almost.
What's your take on the concept of heaven and hell? Do you think it exists?
No, both don't exist.
Okay, the Bible exists, and the way Christianity and Islam made us to understand that there is heaven somewhere. Why is it that according to biblical history, that Jesus Christ is coming back? 2,000 years. Our first people say 2,000 years is just like 1 year. And when you take it to spirituality, or 2,000 years ago, many years. It means Jesus Christ is not going to come back. He existed. I believe he exists.
Do you feel he's not going to come back?
He's not going to come back anywhere. Where? In Nigeria, another year,
Yes.
And the question is, must everybody become Christian? And in fact, it's difficult. Think about it the way you have been told, become Christian, become born again. Do you think it's possible? Then think about the human growth, the human development too. When you came to this world, you only become conscious of yourself from maybe 85,
Yeah.
6, 7. You become fully conscious of yourself by the time you're 40.
True.
You understand? Then you begin to think, why is it that if I have to become born again in this wicked world? I mean, nobody needs to tell you that the world is wicked.
Very good.
Yeah. So if I have to become born again within the space that is wicked,
Ecosystem as wicked.
then how would I get to heaven? So how do you get to heaven? And if we follow the biblical story, nothing, even thinking about it, nothing unclean will get there. Who is clean in the world? Nobody.
Thinking of it on a wider context, the innocent baby born in other religion, Buddhists, Islam.
No innocent person. Once you're born, okay, out here, even when you think about this, biological reproduction by the spiritual configuration is made from the seed of man. I sleep with a woman. So I'll be baby, right? That's how. So the question that I've always been asking recently, from logic is that if I have to go to a very clean place, how would I manage from an unclean place? Clean place. So, and if I was coming from heaven, which is straight, why should I come here to go back to the same place?
It's a very logical one.
So there's no point coming here in the first place if I have to go back there to live as a clean person. So, but I believe there is God.